Well, hello everybody. This is Cliff Rohde of GoatCloud Communications with our Hangout number 11. Happy May Day, everybody. Today is, no, it's not May Day. Actually, May Day was a couple days ago or yesterday. Happy belated May Day. Workers of the world, one hopes that they're uniting. If nothing else, though, we wish you a happy spring. Finally, it is spring in upstate New York. We wonder about that. It might be a little wintry right now. We had a day of spring yesterday. Anyway, as mentioned, my name is Cliff Rohde. I am the owner and chief executive goat of GoatCloud Communications. And I couldn't be more delighted to be here today. Just going to be adjusting my equipment here to talk about free SEO tools. SEO, of course, stands for Search Engine Optimization. Without it, we do not please the Google gods. If we do not please the Google gods, people do not find our websites. If people do not find our websites, we have no business. If we have no business, well, that's a crying shame. So we're going to be talking about free tools today that you can use to make sure that your website is optimized for search, that everything is moving along swimmingly, and it'll be perfect. I was just turning on my Q&A function. Now, here's a story with how these GoatCloud Hangouts work. By the way, if you happen to be watching it live, and we certainly encourage people to watch it live, but a lot of people watch this tape. But if you are watching it live, or even taped for that matter, go ahead and, if you would, send out a status message, a tweet that says hashtag SEO Goat. Why not? Let the world know that you're watching the goat as the goat talks about SEO and things like that. Oh, I'm just going to move my keyboard out of my way so I have a little bit of room. That would be terrific, because that lets people know, and we like it when people know. And you don't often get to hashtag SEO Goat. We are believers here at GoatCloud Communications, where we help people to thrive online in giving something back. And so by giving something back, what we do is we donate a percentage of our profits to organizations that give goats to communities worldwide that have a hard time even sustaining themselves. And so you don't have to give a goat necessarily, but give your own goat, in the sense that we encourage you to give something back, just to be part of the community, the broader community that we are. We hope you will. If you do, let us know what you do. That'd be fun to know. So, as I was mentioning, if you are on this live, feel free to use the question and answer availability on the Google Hangout. Now, you actually have to be at the Hangout itself. If you're just watching this on the website right now, I don't think you can do it. You actually have to be at the Hangout. There's a link there on how to get to the Hangout itself. If you do have a question and you're watching this taped, well, then by all means, feel free to just drop me a line and we'll get to your question later. So, may not be live, but we'll still get to that question. Now, sometimes what we talk about a little bit, well, we always give a little review of what we talked about last time in case you are interested in that and want to follow up with that last Hangout. It has proven to be one of our more popular ones, but we talked about WordPress SEO Essentials. So, different from today, we're still talking about SEO broadly said, but last time we talked about tips and techniques, really essential ones, critical ones, that you need to deploy on your website if you have a WordPress website. And frankly, who doesn't have a WordPress website these days? For most people who have a kind of a small business, a small online presence, WordPress is perfect. There are other alternatives, of course. I'm helping out someone right now with Squarespace, for instance, and Squarespace works pretty well. And but a lot of the techniques, believe it or not, are very similar in Squarespace as they would be in WordPress. So anyway, you might want to check out that Hangout from last time on WordPress Essential SEO Techniques, because it's great for WordPress, but it may even have more bearing if you're doing something besides WordPress. Although, why would you really? We like to come up with a little bit of news and tell you what's going on in the world. Also, it's a little bit of an archival snapshot of what's going on in the world when people look at this hundreds of years from now. And of course, I'm sure people will be looking at this hundreds of years from now, wondering, boy, how stupid people were back then. But in any event, this just in from the news is that Foursquare, which is that app or service where you can go around to local businesses and check in and write reviews and find out information about them, is breaking itself into two. Apparently the check-in function is going to be over here in a brand new app called Swarm, which frankly terrifies me, that name. But then also the remaining part of Foursquare, which is going to be about, all about local business and trying to find out information about local business, is going to remain at Foursquare, where they're going to try to be more of a competitor to the Yelps of the world and the Googles of the world. And as we're kind of talking about some of the things we're going to be talking about today, really this bit of news couldn't be any more timely, because when we're talking about search engine optimization and making sure that your site is in good shape for people, for most of the folks that I work with, they're small businesses or small nonprofits or even just individuals who have a particular passion in website. Most of the customers, clients, visitors that they're seeking to reach are people who are close by. And so you are going to want to shine on the apps and services like Foursquare or Yelp or Google. And some of the things that we're going to be talking about today are really going to allow you to be able to do just that. So, without further ado, I'm going to go into this issue of free SEO tools. These are all online tools available at no cost whatsoever. Anybody can use them. You don't have to be an SEO professional to be able to use them. You may need to know a little bit of knowledge about SEO to really put them to use for you, but the cost is zero, a goose egg. So they're available to anyone. Now, some people might ask, why would I care about these tools? It's a fair question. I think that there are a couple of reasons, and you can probably come up with additional reasons why these tools matter. And I'm sorry, I keep looking down to over here. I'm trying to see what time it is to make sure that I'm following through with time. In any event, so why? Why do we care about these free SEO tools? Well, I'll tell you a couple of reasons why I think. One is they're great for do-it-yourselfers. If you believe in DIY, you've got your own website, and you're going to take care of it all yourself, well, more power to you. Here are some tools that you might not know about that will help you individually to bring your site up to snuff. So that alone is just terrific, because, believe me, I know that do-it-yourselfers are always looking for ways to save money. And so there's a great way to save money, which is to use free services. And these are good, reliable services too, so definitely check them out if you are a do-it-yourselfer. But let's say you're not a do-it-yourselfer, but let's say rather you've hired someone to do some work for you with respect to your website to make sure that your website gets found more often. Well, here's a way for you to kind of check the before and after. If you use some of these tools, you can check out what it says about your website after it's been optimized for search. And if you find things that give you pause or concern or you have questions about, you can go back to your vendor or developer and say, hey, what's going on with this? I went to this free online tool and they told me that this was going on with my website. What do you think? Now, I will say, with using these free online tools, of course, there's no guarantee that they're going to be around tomorrow. The ones that I've chosen to talk about today, there's about 7 or 8 of them, and I think, honestly, whether we're going to be able to get to all of them, I'm not entirely sure. This may end up getting broken down into 2 separate hangouts, but these tools are, you got to use them at your own risk. They're not always perfect. Sometimes I find that the information they give is just a little bit off, but it's still, by and large, they give very valuable information to you. And why, even more to the point of why you should care about these tools, and maybe this goes to the question of why you should care about SEO generally. And what I like to tell my clients is that what you're really doing is optimizing your website for visitors. You'll see a lot written about, if this is something you happen to look up, about user experience. You want to guarantee a great user experience for the users of your website. And if you put into place the tools, the functionality, the mechanisms that you need to make sure that the user has a good experience, well, you're really ahead of the game when it comes to search engines. There's still some other things that you need to do to give indicators, valid indicators to search engines about what it is that's on your site and why your site should be valuable for users. But these tools will help you to make sure that your site is a great experience when people come a-calling. And honestly, that's what you want, right? Because if people are coming to your website, assuming that it's not Aunt Margaret, they're going to want to know information about you. They're going to investigate your bona fides. Are you who you say you are? What do other people think about you? What is that initial impression? And, first impressions mean a lot. The person's going to stick around or they're going to go away based on what they find on your website. So you want to make sure that your website shines from the outset. And so these tools are tools that are going to help you to make sure that your website, in fact, does shine. So now, the next part of this presentation, I'm going to do a screen share. And so if you're just listening, you're probably going to get some valuable information from this. And I will spell out some of the things so that if you, you're looking at it, or if you're just listening, you'll still be able to go do stuff online at a later time. If you're looking live or if you're watching the taped version of this, obviously you'll be able to follow the screen share. And so, but I just wanted to warn you about that. And so without further ado, I'm going to move into the screen share mode and share a screen with you. So here we go. Let's see if I can find the right screen to share with you. Let's go with that one. Okay. So I have one browser open. And it's probably important to note that I am using the Chrome browser because some of the stuff that I'm going to talk about may or may not work with another browser. Chrome is the fantastic browser put out by Google, but you also might want to explore Firefox. I use that pretty regularly too. I never recommend to anyone that they use Internet Explorer. Sorry, Microsoft, there are just too many bugs with that program, and so I would say avoid it. That said, a lot of people do use Internet Explorer, and so you have to make sure that if you do have a website that it browses or it renders appropriately in Internet Explorer 2. So you can't forget about Internet Explorer because some people use it, but I would never recommend that you use it, at least not right now. So, first free tool that I'm going to talk about today is Marketing Grader, put out by HubSpot. I strongly encourage you to check out HubSpot. They put out great information with regularity. And so this Marketing Grader is a great way, to my mind, to capture kind of basic information about your website and especially your efforts to take advantage of social marketing, or social media, I mean, to market. And you really need to be doing that. So all you got to do is you enter in the website you want to take a look at, and you enter in your email address, and you say, grade me. And so it really just takes a few seconds to print out a report, and we're going to wait for it here. So you're going to be seeing all the blemishes on my website. If you feel like punishing your friends who have terrible websites, go ahead and get a Marketing Grader report on their websites and give it to them. Actually, you'd be doing them a favor by showing them kind of the things that need to get done with their website. So what Marketing Grader is going to give us is a, kind of a, again, it's sort of an overview snapshot of the basic components of our website. How we do with blogging, how we do with social media, whether the site is rendering appropriately responsively for smaller screens. And you know what, I got to say, well, we had an error with that. Look at that. That is the first time I've experienced that. I am not going to spend more time on this. I think I am going to say, oh, you know what, maybe I did this. Maybe I didn't type in HTTP. That might be the problem. I'm going to try this one more time. What I was going to say is that if this doesn't work with just a few seconds, I'm going to go on to the next one because I don't want to bother you with that. But I will say it is unusual in my experience that I get an error message from Marketing Grader. So maybe I'm just having internet connection problems at the time. Tell you what, I'm going to move on. The next thing that I'm going to talk about is site speed. And so site speed is terrifically important because, why? Well, you want your users to have a very clean, quick experience on your website. The attention span of most people who browse the internet is very short. They are going to leave if you don't provide them valuable information very quickly. And so site speed is a terrifically important element related to your website. And so this, I've got a couple of different websites that I want you to take a look at. One is GTmetrix, and we're at gtmetrix.com. And boy, this has taken a while too. So I definitely think I'm having an internet problem. And the other is put out by Google. For developers, it's called Page Speed Insights. And so I'll say that the Google URL is developers.google.com/speed/page speed /insights/ and then you can enter in the website that you want to review. So I'm going to hit analyze. While that's doing that, I'm going to go back to the GTmetrix report. So here we go. Oh, I got B's from GTmetrix. Now they give me a look at page speed, and then there's another metric service called YSlow. So these are two indicators where, see, I got for my site a B and a B, which truthfully is way worse than I would like. It shows a page load time of 22 seconds. So I don't know what's going on with that, but it doesn't normally come up that slowly. But it's something that you want to think about. Now, the great thing about GTmetrix is that it gives you all sorts of ideas here about what you're doing well and what you're not doing so well. So they'll grade you with A's, B's, etc. And so this is saying, for instance, for me, that I should be doing a better job specifying image dimensions. And so I know that this is something that I've looked at before for my website. It's very few images, and some of it is hardwired into the coding of the theme I use, and I'm really, truthfully, not about to change them. But and obviously, anything that they show here is optional. You can or cannot change. But take a look at it and see what it is. Now, if I were to click on specify dimensions, right, it shows you what the errors are. And then it says, what does this mean? So it can tell you more, and it gives you a little summary there, and if you want to, you can hit read more, and it'll tell you more information on what you can do to correct the problem. So page speed has given us, I'm going to move on to Google's page speed. What that has given us here is like a reference here with a mobile and a desktop ranking. It likes desktop a little bit better than mobile, and it also gives you ideas of the things that you can fix. User experience, I do great, 91 out of 100. Speed needs to be repaired. Now, reduced server response time, those are issues that I have to bring up with my host. And so, in fact, I am my host, and there are some things there that I have done and some things I can't do. But it's always worth checking out. And I will say this too, when it comes to speed metrics, this information changes over time. If we were to hit reload right now, we may get entirely different results. But you want to look at this information, again, over time. Check every now and again, because you want to see if the trends are going in the right way. All right, I can't do that. I tried to go back right then to HubSpot's Marketing Grader, and it just was not working. So that's what I wanted to say about the different places to check out your speed, your site speed. But just remember that site speed is a terrifically important part of the puzzle, because users really want to go to websites that load relatively fast. You know, they'll give you a little bit of a break, but not for long. So the next thing I wanted to talk about is site security. Right? There's always a lot of talk about the security of WordPress websites. Not because, to my mind, WordPress is inherently insecure, because in fact I do not think it is inherently insecure, but rather because WordPress is the most popular content management system used for website design. It is the most popular target of the bad guys. And so if you have a concern that the bad guys have targeted or are targeting your website, what you can do is come to this Sucuri site check, and that is just at sitecheck.sucuri, which is spelled SUCURI.net. And guess what? You type in your website there. Now I'm typing in GoatCloud, and it'll scan the website, again, for free, and give you an idea of whether there are any security problems on your website. Why is this a problem, or why is security an issue or a potential problem? Well, here's what happens. If your site gets infected and turns out to be a bad site, if somebody puts bad software on your site is a springboard for attacks against other websites, well, the search engines are going to figure that out, and they are going to punish you as a consequence, and no one will be coming around to your website anymore, because it will be diminished in search results, if not removed altogether from search results. And so you want to make sure that your site health or your site security is in good place, or in a good place. And so this tells you, right, it shows that there's this report for GoatCloud shows that there's no malware, no website blacklisting, no injected spam, no defacements. The other two items they talk about, a firewall and a comprehensive scan, are things that I could pay Sucuri for, but I'm not quite willing to do that right now, because we're talking about free things that you can do. But anyway, if you've been hacked, it's a good idea to repair the. You're going to want to repair the website and then check it to make sure that it's secure. So that is pretty critical. So. Oh, you know what? Another site that actually I'm not going to go to here, but I'm going to tell you about for monitoring the health of your website is Google Webmaster Tools. I believe that's just google.com/webmaster or webmasters. In any event, it's called Google Webmaster Tools, and you want to make sure that you register your site with that service. It's another free service, just like all these other ones that I'm talking about, and it is will give you so much information about the health of your site. In fact, a lot of this information we're talking about, site speed, site security, now we're going to be talking about links a little bit, all that sort of stuff. You can get great details in Google Webmaster Tools. You can also get information through Webmaster Tools about the types of searches that you're showing up in, which is information that you can't always get from other services like Google Analytics, because Google blocks a lot of the information about the search terms that people use to find your website. So absolutely check out Google Webmaster Tools too. You're going to need a Google account for that. Most people have a Google account, I think, these days, and so make sure that you do sign up for that service. I didn't say, I will say, I'm not going to go here either, but Google Analytics, of course, we've talked about that in other Hangouts. You absolutely need to have site monitoring traffic on your site. It's not per se an SEO tool, however, it will help you understand what types of searches and what type of traffic you're producing at your website, which is pretty relevant, really, for understanding your website when it comes right down to it. Okay, maybe we'll set up another Hangout later for just to talk about Google Webmaster Tools and or Google Analytics. Another site I want to bring you to is called MX Toolbox, and what MX Toolbox does is it's really a tool. Actually, there are multiple tools there for looking at domains and IP addresses to find out information about them. Now, one of the things we just looked at was, and the Sucuri site was looking at whether the site had any malware and stuff like that, or blacklisted. Well, here's another way to check. And you might recall I mentioned at the very beginning that not every single one of these services is absolutely perfect. And so it's good to check similar information from a variety of sources, because really you're going to end up that way being able to get a better sense of what's going on. So what we'll do here, I'm just going to type in my domain again, goatcloud.com, do a blacklist check, and then MX Toolbox is going to check to see if the site looks okay or if it's been blacklisted by anybody. And so in this case, we got a clean slate here, and so it's a good idea just to check. Sometimes, here's something that not everybody knows. If your website happens to be in a neighborhood of sites that have been blacklisted, you can be punished. Now, what do I mean by neighborhood? Well, a website has an IP address. We can see right here that in my case, the GoatCloud IP address is 192.185.147.95. So every domain has its own IP address, but there might be multiple domains around there that have very similar IP address numbers. And if there have been other sites, again, let's say you're the lone church in a neighborhood full of porn sites, well, that could, quite frankly, impact your search rankings. Or likewise, if you happen to have a straightforward, great website that's in the vicinity of a lot of sites that have malware on them, that are springboards for attack of other sites, then you want to know that, and so you want to check that out. Now, I am going to reserve a couple of other sites, and I think I'll tell you what I'm going to do is at our next Hangout, what I'm going to do is talk more about Google Webmaster Tools, and I'm also going to talk about SEO tools that really help you out with respect to your local business information, and then also tools that'll get you situated for on-page SEO, which is a little bit different from on-site SEO. It'll actually drill down to what's going on your page. And so let's see if I can come back from the screen share. There we go. I have come back from the screen share. So we've talked about a lot of free tools today that you can deploy really readily to take a look at your website and see how well you're doing from a search engine optimization perspective. We didn't get through all 8 tools or 9 tools I think I got up to. We're going to cover those other 4 tools next time, and I hope you'll check out our SEO Goat podcast for that one. So if you've watched this, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to have you around, and we hope you got some useful information out of this. If you did, think about tweeting it or updating your status to let people know that you watched, and encourage them to watch it too, again, if you think that they're going to get something useful out of it. If you'd like to, you can come to our website, goatcloud.com, sign up for our email newsletter. We also send out newsletter tips usually about once a month or so, and so you can sign up for that. There's no obligation. If you do sign up, we'll give you a copy of our list of cloud services that you can use to save yourself some time and some money. By all means, join up with us socially. You can find us on Google, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, etc., etc. Just search for GoatCloud, and you will find us. I can guarantee it. And so, without further ado, I'm going to say thank you. Have a great rest of the day, and we look forward to helping out. If you have any questions, drop me a line at cliff@goatcloud.com, or call us at 518-557-7613. Be happy to entertain any question you have about your online presence, about SEO. If you think we can help out, we'd love to give it a shot. Thank you so much, and until next time, adios.